himself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So Muoff in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
Say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the down pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start trouble. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
On to the back end of Phil Jocelyn, so there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot have fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. And Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Standing out from the crowd is a challenge. You have the passion, courage, and ambition to do something extraordinary. You have an awesome story to tell and a wonderful vision to share with the world. At Eddie Videos, we take that vision and turn it into reality so you can be heard above the rest. You need something different, and we give you the ultimate advantage. We can help you transform your ideas, images, and clips into a professional video that brings your message to life and sets a new bar for excellence. Visuals, voiceovers, editing, animations, whatever you need, we've got it all. If you're a new business looking to make your mark or an experienced company searching for something new and amazing, we're here to help. Trust us to take your video to amazing levels of awesomeness.
Coming down. Does he have it? Medeiros is going to get it. Oh, they're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still slot chopper. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Radical Race series, which is returning once more for another new season. Season 3 of 2023, ready to get underway for the second season in a row at Road America for the first time. We're back in the SR10s once again after a season away in the lower SR8s. A new iRacing update over the course of the last couple of weeks. This car has all of a sudden become a lot more viable to drive, and so we're using it once again. Welcome on to everybody. Hope you'll enjoy the show this evening. My name's Ewan O'Leary alongside James Parfitt once again for another new season. James, we're glad to be back again on the Radical Race series. After one season away, the SR10s are back, and we're back at Road America as well for the first time since about 13 weeks ago when we opened the last season with this very circuit.
Yeah, back in the SR10. I think there was a lot riding on whether or not they were going to change over and change back to it. Basically, they had to wait until the car became viable again, or wait until there was actually some information regarding an update. They have come out and hopefully, touchwood, fixed the car. Now, it was, as we know, completely undrivable last season. They have come back and done the update over the last 2 weeks within the last week 13 update. So hopefully, it should be good. Now, we do have 18 cars on track, so that's absolutely amazing. And we're in for some great racing here at Road America. And as you say, 13 weeks ago, we were here again, and now we're here once more. So for round one. And, well, to be honest, long straightaways, corners, what more can we ask for? And hopefully we'll get some epic racing.
We always do in this series, of course, and we certainly did last season as well. I think it's worth kicking off our discussion before this race. We've got a little bit more time before the opening of a new season here, nearly 10 minutes remaining in practice here. So we've got a bit of time to talk about last season here before we go any further. It was John McHutchison versus Simon Edwards, as it so often is in this championship and so often has been in the last couple of years. Finally, McHutchison taking a title. That's the longest gap we've ever seen between two titles for a singular driver. McHutchison joining the two-time champion club with his second Season 2 victory this year. He was Season 2 champion back in 2021. That's a 2-year gap, far bigger than anybody else's gap. The next biggest being Simon Edwards, who only missed out on one season in his real long run that really came to an end with McHutchison last season. But it was very, very dramatic, I think it's fair to say. Edwards came into the day leading the championship. He came in with all the cards in his hand, you would say. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be his day at Le Mans, which saw a fantastic finale, I've got to say. High drama within it, but in the end it was John McHutchison who just about got enough points to overhaul Edwards right at the very end.
Yeah, for it to go down to the last race of the season has been amazing. Now, we've had that, for 2 seasons in a row already, where it's gone down to the final race. And I think there was a lot endured last season with the sprint and feature format completely taking over the series. They got rid of the endurance one altogether, which in hindsight was 45 minutes ago or 40 minutes. So it wasn't really a long endurance, but they got rid of it altogether, took on the sprint and feature, and to be honest, that works. Now, that's returning again this season. So we've got 7 laps for the sprint, 12 laps for the feature here in Road America. And I'm hoping the battle commences, because both of these drivers are strong in this car. Edwards, McHutchison, you've now got Paul LeMay getting involved, and Buisson again. Are we going to see Mike Buisson win a race? Well, only time will tell, and we'll have to hopefully try and see that from him, because he's been close a few times, but unfortunately he just hasn't quite taken it over the line as such. But I think all in all, the whole series has come on massively from when we first started with it. That sprint and feature part of it, that format, has really produced some epic racing. Now, I'm not expecting this season to be any different here, to be honest with you. I think with 3 tenths gap in practice on a 158.6, 158.9 for McHutchison, I think it's going to be as close as it ever has been for the whole season, like we have watched for the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, it's the sprint and feature format has really revolutionised this championship, hasn't it? It's gone through a seismic shift since it was introduced for the last season of 2022, which was won by Simon Edwards once again. I believe it was introduced for that season anyway. I could be wrong. I think it was. It's really changed this season now, though, and we're approaching the 4th season of it, as far as I can tell. Or, well, whatever it is, it's been around for a while now, and we're very glad to have got it as well. I think this is actually the 3rd season of it, actually, isn't it?
3rd, third.
Yeah, 3rd. I'm just slightly hallucinating that 4th season there, but anyway, it's 4th season we've had it here at JPB. 3rd season of the sprint and feature format. That's the right way around. I think we've got it. But just on your point of championship finales, by the way, 3 of the last 4 seasons have had championship finales. The only one that hasn't was that final season of 2022, the first one that we did here on JPB. The last season of the 1 race per day format. Simon Edwards winning that one to take at the time his 4th championship. He's taken another one, as we saw in the drama of the year 2023. So much drama in the 2nd season as well. What are we going to see in this 3rd one? In terms of championship contenders here, you've got to throw into the ring, obviously, Edwards and McHutchison, who appear once again. And McHutchison is even practicing for this race, which is going to shock many. But you've got to count in the likes of Paul LeMay, Mike Buisson. Michael LeMay's up there in this session at the moment as well, but I think it might well boil down to Edwards versus McHutchison all over again here, because those two were so strong last season. While they do have others contending around them week on week, and not there every single week, it's the consistency of Edwards and McHutchison that really sets them apart from the rest.
Yeah, it definitely does. Look at Paul LeMay. He had an absolute barnstorming start to last season, and we really seriously considered him to take the championship and be involved with it. And then he just slipped away. Buisson's up and down. It's like Buisson gets into 2nd, and he's so contented there. He's so used to being there that that's where he ends up finishing. And unfortunately for Mike, he doesn't seem to be able to move himself onto that top step. But I think there's a lot more drivers in this that do the SR10 officials last season who were running them as well. The likes of the Mays, the Boussons, the Browns, the Rollisons, you know, they were all doing the officials for the SR10. So they got used to when it was driving in its bad side. And I think they're going to come through and really show what they're able to do here this evening as well. Well, we just touched on this really quickly. Good evening, Toxic Munchkin, Jamie Denver, of course. Full crowd welcoming in. SR10 should give some great racing, just the amount of tone. Car is great to drive now, really good on the brakes. The car's good and predictable. Good evening, Phil. And to you as well. Thank you so much for joining us as well. But I think, to be honest here, Ewan, we might be looking at, if everybody is consistent with their racing, we can one of the closest seasons we've ever seen here. And I think there could literally be more than the two contenders that we are discussing.
Yeah, there could well be. At the moment, I'm leaning towards a two-horse race, but I'm willing to be proven wrong, very much so, from these guys, and that has happened plenty of times before. In the last couple of seasons, we've seen a lot of contenders. I know it did eventually boil down to those two last season, but there were a lot of contenders. I mean, I always talk about the spreadsheet that I put together just to try and work out what the hell is going on in this series sometimes, because it's a struggle on occasion in terms of points. When I initially made the spreadsheet for last season, I put 8 names down as people who could win the title. You know, I've never had to do that many names before, so you know, you just never know what can happen. We had 3 contenders right up until the penultimate race, and Dan Webster's unfortunate demise at Brands Hatch, if you remember the first season of 2023. That was disappointing, but we still had Maxwell and Edwards going into the final race absolutely locked together, and Maxwell, for some point in that final race, was winning the championship on the road. Unfortunately crashed and didn't win the title that day, but we've seen some really close ones and not many two-horse races in the recent past, so we really could get something similar once again in the SR10. Just a few moments remaining of practice. Worth noting a couple of notable absentees here. You've already mentioned one of them, James. Paul Crabb, who won't be in time, unfortunately, home in time for the race, which is a shame. Robert Woodward as well is going away somewhere tomorrow, so has got to Black instead, and unfortunately won't be joining us either. But it shows a promising grid. We've already got 18 times on the board here. So you've got those two who have already proclaimed their desires to drive in this series this season. So, you know, we've got at least 20 willing drivers that we're going to see over the course of the season, which is fantastic. And probably by the end, we're going to have seen around 30, you'd imagine, which is what we often get. Not in a single race, but over the course of the season, we'll probably see a familiar cast of 30 or more names.
Yeah, definitely. We've got Paul Clark in YouTube as well. Have a great race. Also good to see the SR10 back. Gutted I can't make this one, as I love the track. I hope to make the next one. So Paul's obviously not here either, so that's another opportunity. Now, we have got some returning drivers. Damien G is back. Colin Wynn is back. He's obviously feels good enough to be able to get back in the car as well. Obviously, Martina Ward is also back as well. She's got an opportunity to drive from her real life MX-5 driving that she does as well. So she's here, and I think that's great to see that they're also bringing back some of the other drivers as well. And I think that's a testament to the series, really, because obviously when, in general, when people turn around and not make a series, they kind of consistently not make it. But the fact that obviously Colin Wynn has come back, and Martina Ward and Damien G, you know, we know Damien G did, I think it was like 1 or 2 races last season, and then missed the whole entire rest of the season. So for him to, he did 2 races actually, for him to obviously come back as well is a great testament to the league, and I think it's a great testament to this sprint and feature format. It's a great testament to everybody behind the scenes, Darryl and all of that as well, Graham Browning, Mixton, Martina running it, and I think they've done an absolutely incredible job. You know, the calendar itself, you know, the likes of Road America, Spa is on there, Nordschleife, Alton, Laguna, Jerez, Silverstone, Sebring, Road Atlanta, Mount Panorama, Interlagos and Canadian Tire Motorsports for the last race of the season. I think it's going to be an absolutely epic calendar.
Yeah, we've got plenty on that. I just want to touch on the calendar again, though, briefly before we get into qualifying here properly, because they're all on their laps at the moment. So not much going on too much, but we'll obviously get to the times when they begin to just come across the line, and we'll comment on them at their time. But One note on the calendar, I think the biggest shock for me that almost floored me actually was the fact that the Nordschleife is not the last round. It's in the calendar and it's not last, which I'm glad about because as much as I like the Nordschleife, it's not a great championship finale in my opinion. It should be placed in the middle of the season and that's exactly what's been done this time. It's round 3. We're not sure what the format's going to be around there because we didn't race there last season for the first time in forever. But in the middle of the season, Nordschleife, I'm very excited for that because, as I say, I think it works way better in the middle of the season than it does at the end.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. And I think, to be honest, if I was ever going to drive a track in the SR10, it would be in week 3 and go on a Nords because, you know, in an officials, it's completely different to a league. But obviously in officials, it's a kind of, if you want to boost your IR, you go and race Nords in a car that basically when people break them, they break them most consistently at the Nordschleife itself. One of the interesting things for me, though, is that final round at Mosport, and we know what racing Mosport can bring, and I think if that is close, if there is even a motor decider going into that last round of the season, oh my god, the fireworks are going to spark up because it is going to be an absolute epic end to the season there as well. And the good thing about that is the feature already is 20 laps as well. So if after the sprint of 12 laps we're looking at close fights for the feature, it is going to be one firecracker of an event. I am so excited for Mosport at the end of the season. I think that is going to provide some amazing action.
We've got some belters towards the end of the season, I've got to say. Final 4 rounds, Road Atlanta, Bathurst, Interlagos, Mosport. They are all wonderful circuits, I think, for driving on, for racing on as well. That's going to be a great end to the season. By the way, we had a real American feel to the early point of the season, and you might be thinking it's same old story here as we're watching Road America for the opening round for the second season in a row, bizarrely, which I don't think has ever happened before. Instead of 6 American rounds in the first 7 weeks, which was what we had last season, we've got 4 in the first 9 this time, which means it's a lot more evenly spread. We'll be going to Europe 3 more times before we head to our next American circuit. And then a little bit more all over the world towards the end. So that's all good to see. A bit better of a variety, I've got to say, spread throughout the season here on this occasion. But let's get to qualifying because they're all completed their outlets pretty much right now. We're following Simon Edwards in that famous blue and red, looking to overcome the disappointment of what we had 2 weeks ago at Le Mans. Damage, unfortunately, setting him back. He couldn't do anything. He had to rely on results going his way. John McCutcheon needed to finish first or second. He won the final race of the season. He won the championship by 7 points as well. Edwards is going to be coming back with vengeance, though. He's already gone purple in the first half of the lap. He does seem absolutely flying right now and doesn't look like he's going to be challenged by anybody on this opening lap.
No, definitely not. Buisson had the purple sector briefly before Edwards went and come and took it away from him. Buisson's going to be the first one across the line here as well. I do love the fact that Paul Krabs put official at Nords are a bit mad. Need to get a quali in or you're dead. No, you just start from the pits, give them 30 seconds, let them go crash and take the position away. Job done. Not going to lie. I may have done that a few times before as Buisson's just about to come over the line for his first time.
One of those film sectors taken off him, by the way, but don't think it'll matter too much. Buisson will set the benchmark. Seth Brown going quite quickly towards the end as well, but it's going to be Simon Edwards who goes to the pole position, and there's no surprise there whatsoever. Looking for any purple sectors further down, it's of course John McCutcheon, who's got that other one, stolen that third last one off of him. That's one of the LeMays going up, Paul LeMay into second place. What about McCutcheon though? He will go into second, very close to Simon Edwards. Can't quite get there. They're quite well spaced, those two actually. So we're going to enjoy this session quite a lot. I think Edwards quite a long way in front of McCutcheon, but not in terms of lap times. The two of them are quite well matched in that opening time at least.
Yeah, they definitely are at the moment. 158.77, 158.86. I think if you can break the 2 minutes like Rollo, Brown, LeMay, oh, Mr. Colin Wynn does spin it up there, and unfortunately for him, Michael LeMay is on there on a 2:01 as well. I think if you can break that 2 minute mark and even get remotely into the 159, you're definitely going to be in the top 6. And I think that's going to be one of the most exciting things we're going to be watching here as well, is how these drivers get on here on these long lap times. And these are relatively long to the likes of some of the circuits we've seen. Don't forget, obviously, please don't spit out that obviously Nords and all that. Nords is a long old track, and there's a few others that are a couple along as well. But there are circuits like Mosport where they're a lot shorter, Road Atlanta as well. So I think for the fact that they've got the 158, I think at the end of the day, if you can get that 159, you're going to be sitting in a good place. Don't forget we've got top 10 reverse for Heat 2 as well. And that, again, is going to mix it up here as well. But Simon Edwards is doing an absolutely flying job at the moment.
Yeah, he certainly is. He can get up to speed a little bit quicker, by the way, in these SR10s by the looks of things. We're a lot closer to the practice times than what you'd normally see in the SR8, where the first laps really don't matter. That you do in terms of lap time anyway. You do have to obviously keep the pace up and keep the tyre temperature coming, but other than that it doesn't matter at all. Simon Edwards though will go that little bit quicker at the top right now. He'll just push that boundary out a little bit further for John McCutchinson to try and catch. There's one purple sector in there for McCutchinson, and maybe that will be enough to get a little bit closer, but I don't think so. Over the line, he's close again. He improves by 0.3 of a second, but it's not enough to overhaul Edwards, who continues in the lead of this session. Now there's only one more chance, one more lap before this session is done. They only get 3 laps, of course, in these sessions. That rule not having changed since last year.
Definitely not. Martin Ward is just going to cross the line as well for a lap time here. Let's see what Martin can do. He's going to go over the line, clears the line now. And what sort of lap time have we got on the board currently in a moment? A 2-minute 9:49. Jamie Bird on the 2-minute 2:20 there. Darryl Taylor has got some greens on the board for Darryl. He's currently sitting in 7th place at the moment. With Edwards in further ahead. Edwards is not improving. Bruson's not really improving either. So, we'll see how he gets on. What is McCutchinson going to be able to do in this third and final lap? Is he going to be able to crack that mark? Is he going to be able to get nearer and nearer to Edwards? Don't forget, they've got to get it off the line as well. They've had a season in the SR8 which is completely different to get off the line to these SR10s. So I think that's all going to be involved. And I wouldn't be surprised if first race of the season, first round of the season, we see somebody spin up off the line. Whether or not they're going to be turning right at the moment, they're going to be spinning that, but I would not be surprised if somebody spins up off the line.
Indeed, going nowhere on the line as well. I do seem to recall actually a huge calamity on the start last season. I don't know quite why, but I just remember a big mess. I think Phil Glover got pole for the second race, didn't he? And I don't know say he caused everything, but there was certainly a big mess behind him. Let's have a look though for Simon Edwards here, who does go a little bit quicker. 3rd purple lap time of the session in a row as well. David Ronston looking to improve a little bit. Top 5 for him at the moment. That's really impressive. He'll go over the line again. Will stay 5th, but with a slight improvement. Paul LeMay will go up to 3rd. Where's John McCutchinson? He's over the line, and it's a very slight improvement, but not enough for pole. It will be Simon Edwards ahead of John McCutchinson, then Paul LeMay and Mike Bouchon on the second row. No real surprises there. Simon Edwards just one step ahead of the rest through the entire session, and it looks like, he didn't have much challenge in the end for that pole position. Those 3 purple laps in a row were more than enough for him to take pole.
Yeah, definitely wrong. There are people still running around here, the likes of Godden, Martina Ward, Damien G back in it. Martina shoots herself up into 9th. What is Damien G going to be able to do as he goes over the line? Is he going to be able to improve? 2-minute 4:29. It is his fastest lap, but no improvement on his position. But Wayne Palmer will be the final man to cross that line here at the season this evening. No times on the board for Phil Glover, Colin Wynne, or David Beasley. So that could be an interesting one.
Yeah. Not sure why they've not elected to set times, but they haven't, and so they'll be starting from the back. There's an interesting sight. Martina Ward practice start on the front row. On the front straight there. We'll now go back to the pit lane, I think. But just practicing the start, which is probably a good idea, although I haven't seen anyone else doing that, so it's certainly something that they're going to have to contend with, because as you say, it's different prospect to what we saw from the SR8s. Which also have their own difficulties of getting off the line, of course, their own intricacies, but Also, for the SR10s, you do have to know how to walk this car off the line. It'll be Simon Edwards and John McCutcheon on the front, though. 74 thousandths between them in qualifying. It won't be much more during the race. Paul LeMay and Mike Bousson will be behind them, with David Rolleston inside the top 5. Fantastic qualifying from him ahead of Seth Brown. Robert Woodward and Darrell Taylor will be behind on row 4, with Martina Ward and JB Bird making up the rest of the top 10. Bird coming off a double podium here last season. Damien G and Fu Jocelyn will be on the 6th row ahead of Paul Godden, Wayne Palmer and Michael LeMay, the final drivers to set times. Fu Glover, Colin Wynn and David Beasley, for whatever reason, decided not to come out the pit lane for qualifying. It's the opening round of the season, though. We're very much looking forward to getting this new season underway and seeing if we can get a first clean start of the season as well.
Yeah, that's going to be a very, very interesting thing here. I'm really looking forward to start. While we've got 2 seconds, guys, check out the sponsors here this evening as well. HPE Automotive, iLounge Racing, Sim Stickers, Adam Hedgecock and Ebby Videos. All links are down in the description below, and you can go and have a look. And if you fancy getting some photos done, hit up Adam Hedgecock. If you want to get some promotional videos done, you've got Ebby Videos down there as well. Sim Stickers, of course, we know what they do. We know what Paul Clark does at iLounge Racing and HPE Automotive. So they're all links down in the description below, so go and check them out. Ready for this evening, but there they all are. Cars on the grid for you, Mr. O'Leary. What is going to happen here?
Well, that is the big question. What is going to happen here? We've seen our fair share of chaos at Road America in our time. We opened off the season here with a double victory for Dan Webster 1 season ago. What's it going to be this time? The red lights come on for a new season of the Radical Race Series. We're underway once again. Simon Edwards with a good start off the front. It's a terrible one in the background there for Mike Bousson. It was from 4th place. He goes nowhere. David Rolleston gets off to a good one. He's on the outside of Paul LeMay towards turn 1, but they'll get single file. It's Simon Edwards from John McCutcheon, LeMay, Rolleston, Woodward and Ward inside the top 6, but Mike Bousson went nowhere, causing Seth Brown to also go nowhere as he got stuck behind.
Yeah, everybody in that lane behind Bousson, Brown, it looks like Taylor, Jocelyn and Palmer all got caught up behind Bousson, and none of them went anywhere. They've all lost places. Bousson down 5, Brown down 4, Taylor down 4, Jocelyn down 3, Palmer down 2, Phil Glover as well. So none of them went anywhere, and after that start from Bousson, he's going to be absolutely kicking himself. He just didn't move. He literally barely went anywhere on the line for Mike.
That was extremely bizarre, but what you were talking about earlier on, it is all about getting this car off the line, which is a different prospect to what we had in the SR8 only 2 weeks ago and throughout the previous season as well. Bousson has recovered to 7th place at least. He's given a few others some places. David Rolleston's up to 4th place. Robert Woodward's inside the top 5. We've got a real shake-up of the order here with the new car and the start as well. Bousson want those to go backwards. So Seth Brown, Darrell Taylor, Damien G moving downwards, but everybody getting off to a clean start at least after that. At least there were no incidents through that opening corner. There has been on this opening lap though, because Phil Jocelyn's found itself in the wall. Colin Wynn's also off the road. There's certainly been something going on down the back straight, and it was in battles as well, because Phil Jocelyn, to what I can see, has not even gone off in a corner, unless I'm mistaken. I am mistaken indeed. It's through the king. He's got into the concrete, and that will be damage on that car.
Phil Jocelyn hit that wall hard there as well, slight little touch, and it was all done, and Dustin Martina Bousson trying to come back through, of course, into turn 1. Martina gives it the room it needs, and Bousson is through, and that puts Bousson up into 6th, but Paul Godden's having a nice little tidy battle down here with Seth Brown and Darrell Taylor.
This is a good battle for 9th place. Seth Brown's on the inside here, and you expect him to have the measure of these guys because of where he qualified and the start that he's had. Darrell Taylor got a good exit off of turn 3 there, and now he'll look to the outside. Damien G doesn't know where to go. It's a bit too narrow. Slipstream a bit more effective, as we previously mentioned, and it's causing everybody to get close here. Down towards turn 5 they'll go. It's late on the brakes from Darrell Taylor, and he'll swoop round the outside into 9th. Seth Brown 14th behind, then Paul Godden and Damien G, with JB Bird off at the top of the hill and Corvette. He's gone off there on his own by the looks of it, although I wouldn't be surprised if someone else is involved.
Yeah, he's managed to keep it on track there as well. I've got this funny feeling it may have just been completely on his own. as he's coming up to the top here. He locks up, and it was on his own, as you say. He locked up and went off, and that was it. The battle up front is getting nice and close now. We're down to about 3 tenths here between McCutcheon and Edwards as they're sweeping down from the kick down into Canada corner. And it's going to be an interesting one to see how McCutcheon copes with this. The draft jockeys in that second gap that Crab was talking about earlier on were sweeping around Canada corner now. Could this be a move down into turn 1? If he stays this close, it definitely could be.
It really could. Wasn't expecting McCutcheon to show this kind of race pace actually, but then again, we shouldn't be too surprised. These two, the class of the field once again. They've had so many battles, historic ones, in the Radical Race Series down the seasons. 2 championships to the man in second place at the moment, 5 for Simon Edwards, who currently leads this one. It's McCutcheon in the slipstream right now. He's been avoiding it for some of the straight actually. He's weaving around looking where to go. I don't think he especially wants to go through right now. He's looking to hold off behind and then power through a little bit later, but he could have a problem in the form of Paul LeMay very soon as well, as he hoes into view as well just in the background. Out of turn 3 they will go. McCutcheon will stay in the slipstream once again. Edwards hinting at defending, but look at McCutcheon pulling out of the slipstream early to try and get that air onto his nose and try and slow himself down a little bit, making sure that he doesn't go through. He's to the outside through turn 5. He won't go through once again though. He's just biding his time in this race, waiting for a little bit later on.
Yeah, I tell you what he doesn't want to do. He doesn't want to go for a move that can jeopardise his race. He wants to kind of stay there and pick his moment. He's got to pick his moment. He's clearly showing pace. Edwards down that start-finish straight made at least 2 moves. He went to the right and then went to the left. And McCutcheon had nowhere to go. I think McCutcheon is biding his time. He's got to get around the carousel cleanly. If he can make a move down into Canada corner, I think he would be going for it. But I don't think he's going to be getting it. If anything, he would just wait and pull that start-finish straight. There's no point jeopardising each other's races down into Canada corner. It makes more sense to wait down into turn 1.
It does, but I was thinking, might as well wait here for the end of the race or near to it as well, because otherwise I'm just going to be re-overtaken with the slipstream that we have now in the SR10s. As we've said before, it's a bit more powerful, and so you can stay with those in front a little bit more easily. I think these two do have the edge over Paul LeMay, and that will only encourage LeMay to get involved with them earlier on in the race actually. He'll want to get in front of them and try to defend. I don't think he's going to be waiting around quite as much as McCutcheon clearly is, but is the waiting over. Edwards once again pulls to the inside line, but I don't think he can defend at all from John McCutcheon here, who will power through on the straight. He drives down the middle just to narrow off Edwards' entry onto turn 1. They'll both swoop into the corner on a really narrow line. LeMay will gain as a result of this, but John McCutcheon retakes the lead for the first time in this race, first time this season as well. Now we'll see, now that Edwards is behind, can he stay with McCutcheon? Can he come back at him down towards turn 5? They'll go under the bridge. Look at the slipstream effect again. Edwards to the outside line of his rival from 1 season ago. Into the braking zone they'll go again. And McCutcheon gives over the place again. So this is going to be a ping pong battle between the two of them, with a bit of Paul LeMay involved within it as well.
Yeah, Seth Brown further back here with Damien G and Paul Godden. These guys are battling away. Michael LeMay is in it, and Wayne Palmer. Oh, there's been an incident with Darrell Taylor. He's going to find himself spread eagle either side. He's going to be in the middle. How is he going to cope with that? He copes well with it, but he nearly found his place lost by Paul Godden there, and Damien G also having a go. They're having a battle further down. They're battling further up. Darrell Taylor, see what he went into in turn 5 and see what happened to him. But I've got this horrible funny feeling he's just going to run in deep, or he was going to spin it up on the exit of turn 5. He had room for days there. Yep, round he goes.
Too much speed all the way into turn 5. It was as simple as that by the looks of it. But this battle at the front is certainly a lot more complicated. Still quite a way to go in this race actually. A lot more positional changes probably going to happen between the front two especially. The slipstream effect is absolutely huge here at Road America. The long straights providing great racing for us at the moment. Edwards versus McCutcheon. It's a good exit from the racing out of the final corner on this occasion. Edwards was way more under threat this time, 1 lap ago, but now McCutcheon is just forced to wait behind. He'll close in towards turn 1. his next best chance will be into turn 5 if he wants to take it.
Yeah, definitely. Woodward is trying to get onto the back of Buson here as well. And then we've got this train of Seth Brown, Darrell Taylor, Phil, Paul Goddard, Damien G, Michael LeMay. They're all mixing out with Wayne Palmer catching up as well. Taylor's going to swoop down the outside of turn 1. And that was a move and a half to try and make that stick there as well. But back up front, Edwards and McCutcheon going at it once again.
Outside for McCutcheon in towards turn 5. He's going to brake late this time. Thought he was going to just stick behind, but he goes too late on the brakes. McCutcheon almost put it all on the line there and might have thrown it all away. Paul LeMay tried to go down the inside there, but didn't go for it. Edwards with a bit of a strange line into turn 6 as well. The three of them absolutely locked together, as there's definitely been an incident in that battle for 8th place. There's all sorts of positional changes go on back there. Let's have a look in towards turn 5. Darrell Taylor got himself away from it.
No, this was earlier on. I'm sorry, I apologise, that was on the wrong one, but this is the incident here. We saw Taylor slide down the order there. He went down quite rapidly. Oh, Brown went in smoking hot.
Oh, Hero did it. Yeah, Darrell Taylor's not really pleased about that, is he? Because Seth Brown missed his braking zone. He dropped places, but Taylor lost even more in that one. Oh, this is lively as well, isn't it? Edwards versus McCutcheon again. Into Canada corner this time. Outside line for McCutcheon. What great racing. Oh, a bit of contact as well between the two of them. Edwards will have the outside line for the next corner. He can't hang it round there. What a great battle this is as McCutcheon takes the lead, but how long will this last?
Well, the question is going to be not how long will this last with them two, but look how long it's going to be for LeMay. Paul LeMay is absolutely catching on to the back of these two. McCutcheon weaving there as well, unfortunately, across the start-finish straight. He's made two moves. He's going to push Edwards to the outside. He's going to push LeMay to the outside. Is LeMay going to try running around turn 1 as well? It's not. Edwards, McCutcheon's got it thing. Oh, they were nearly contact again round turn 1, coming down into 3. Is McCutcheon going to go again? He is. There's going to be... Oh.
It's a big dive, and Edwards took round the outside, 2 right-handers in a row, and he's made the move stick. He's in the lead. LeMay watches on behind and just has no interest in getting involved, really. McCutcheon will go to the outside this time. He was late on the brakes last time, but too late. Can he just measure himself this time? He's gone a bit too deep again. Edwards with the inside should be able to hold on to that one. He wasn't so strong through turn 6 last lap, though. Maybe McCutcheon can exploit that. He's on the outside line. He's pushed out towards the curb. It slopes off there as well, and Edwards will hold on. It's the penultimate lap of the opening race of the season, and what a battle we're seeing between these two already.
Yeah, they definitely are. They're not holding back. We've opened up the season with a bang, and this is the bang. Is LeMay going to get himself involved, do you think? If I was Paul LeMay, I'd be like, oh, I don't even know if I want a piece of this. I don't even want to. I just want to sit back and watch this unfold, because if this goes off here, LeMay's going to take this victory, because these guys have been battling. They've thrown side pods at each other already. They've made contact on the way out and the way into curbs. They've all gone they're all running and everything. LeMay's closed right back up again. He's off that line of turn 5. Just take your normal line. I don't see the need for Paul LeMay to be running into a narrow line. It's just jeopardised his exit. He's lost about 4 tenths there. But it is McCutcheon and Edwards going once more. We're entering onto the final lap now, Ewan. If these guys manage to get this right, this is going to be an epic end. If they don't manage to get it right, Paul LeMay is going to take the victory.
Well, that, I think, is the best chance LeMay has of winning this race, because that was a strange line in towards Canada corner. I certainly think so, and it's allowed Edwards and McCutcheon to fight it out between themselves. It was Edwards on the outside last lap. This time it's McCutcheon. He will swoop round and get through, but there's still a long way to go here. There's another straight towards turn 5. McCutcheon hasn't had much luck at coming from behind in this situation. Edwards, has got a chance. He's got off. Oh, he's into the grass after leading for so long. Simon Edwards makes a grave error, and he goes wide at turn 5. He'll get back on, only in 6th place though, and John McCutcheon will be able to take the lead in so unexpected circumstances. I don't think anybody could have called that.
No, definitely he made the mistake there. Rollo has lost the place to Buson. Further back, Paul Goddard and Seth Brown still battling it out as well. But poor Simon Edwards. Brown's on the defensive line. Goddard's trying to run around the outside into 5. He's not going to make it this time. Brown cuts his nose off and says, no, you're not getting past me. I think that is it for Edwards. I think that is all done and dusted. John McCutcheon, the Scotsman, is flying and is going to take the opening win here as well. And Paul LeMay did what he needed to do. He said to sit and wait. He did sit and wait, and Simon Edwards went and made a mistake.
Well, was not expecting that at all. Simon Edwards making what is a grave error in this race. John McCutcheon allowed to run away with this race win now. Paul LeMay not with the pace to stay with him. He won't be close enough for any moves here. It's going to be the reigning champion who's going to take the opening race of the season afterwards as well. John McCutcheon into the final corner right now, and after a fantastic battle with Simon Edwards, he will come out on top. It's John McCutcheon who wins the first race at Road America and takes the full 25 points as well. Paul LeMay will be second. Mike Pearson will be on the podium ahead of David Roscoe. Robert Woodward will be ahead of Simon Edwards as well. What a strange way for this race to end, but a dramatic way as well. And let's see who's going to be inside the top 10 here, benefiting from the reverse grid, because at the moment G, LeMay and Brown will just about get there. I don't think Paul Collins can do quite enough. That was a very close battle as well. A very dramatic opening race to the season.
Yeah, and it is Seth Brown who's going to be for race 2. And, well, I'm not going to lie here, Ewan. If that is what we are setting the precedent for this season, bring it on. That was incredible.
It absolutely was. John McCutcheon wins it ahead of Paul LeMay, with Mike Pearson on the podium as well. David Ralston and Robert Woodward also inside the top 5, but Simon Edwards down in 6th. Who could have predicted that? Martina Ward will be 7th ahead of Damien G, Michael LeMay and Seth Brown, who just about hung on to their places at the front of the reverse grid. Then it will be Paul Godden, Wayne Palmer and Darryl Taylor, who just missed out. Phil Glover there, Colin Wynne, Jamie Bird and Phil Jocelyn, all who finished a little bit further down. Let's have a quick chat, though, at the end of that race with Phil Glover, who will be able to bring in here in a couple of moments. Just missed out on that reverse grid, unfortunately, but not by very much. Was 14th at the end of that one. Phil, welcome to the booth. Good to have you here for another new season. How did you find that opening race of the season?
It was okay, actually. Obviously, usual thing for me, bad qualifying, so pretty much at the back of the grid. But I caught a few people up and then made a bit of a silly mistake. So hopefully we'll do a little bit better in the next race.
What did happen to you in qualifying? Because we noticed you didn't set a time, but for some reason we just thought you didn't bother qualifying for whatever reason.
Yeah, no, I did try to qualify, but I started qualifying quite late, and then I went off on the first lap, so I had to start again, and then the only lap I had chance of doing was going okay, and then I got an off track, so yeah, not very good.
Well, good luck for race 2, Phil. We hope that it will go well for you, and we look forward to chatting to you afterwards.
Yeah, look forward to it. All right, take care, bye. Thanks
very much, Phil Glover there, chatting to us during warm-up for this second race. Interesting to hear that what happened to him in qualifying, and unfortunate as well, really for him, but he'll be fighting forward from 14th in race 2. Let's take a look at the full grid, though, and it will be Seth Brown on the front ahead of Michael LeMay. Damien G and Martina Ward will be on row 2. Simon Edwards will be one to watch from 5th, of course, with Robert Woodward 6th. Then David Rosden 7th ahead of Mike Pearson, Paul LeMay and John McCutcheon on row 5. Then it's Paul Godden and Wayne Palmer on row 6 ahead of Darryl Taylor and Phil Glover. Colin Wynne and Jamie Bird on row 8 ahead of Phil Jocelyn, and David Beasley will be on the grid, but I don't think he's actually here to make up the 18 drivers, unfortunately. Reverse grid's always very interesting, and Simon Edwards will be certainly one to watch from 5th place.
Yeah, absolutely. If Edwards is going to have any silver lining out of this, it's got to be where he started from now. He's got to be looking at trying to take this victory once more. It's going to be an exciting one. It's going to be an interesting one, but there they are, ready to go.
Red lights coming on for the second time at Road America. The opener of the Radical Race Series underway once again, and it's Michael LeMay from the front row who gets off to a good start. It's a blinder from Simon Edwards, though. Powers through the middle of the field, and already he's up to second place and challenging for first as well. From 5th off of the start, it's already the lead for Simon Edwards. What a start from him ahead of Damien G and then Michael LeMay. But Seth Brown is down in 4th already after that start. They're side by side for 3rd place. What a start from Simon Edwards though, proving why he's 5-time champion. He will now hope to run away with this race.
Yeah, Edwards got an absolute rocket of a start and propelled himself from the 5th into 1st there as well. Browns can now come back in 2nd, but Tina Ward is sending it deep. Oh, Ward missed a breaking point. And unfortunately for that, she went all the way down the order. It's going to end up all the way back at the field here. But Michael LeMay has got boosts on behind him with Robert Woodward as well. Seth Brown holding on. But Hutchinson can just see the disappearance of Simon Edwards. He's going to be trying to fight it back. He can't let him get too far. He lets him get too far here, and it's game over already in race 2. They've got to be able to. He's got to get through this field in front of him.
Well, I'm not sure that they'll be able to do anything about Simon Edwards, to be honest, already in this race. I know it's only halfway round lap 1, but what a lead he already has over the rest of the field. I can't see him being caught from here, if I'm honest with you. Even though McCutcheon's already up to 5th place, Brewston's already up to 4th as well. It's going to be difficult for them to get through. Of course, they've already been in those couple of places, basically, like Damien G, who had their own incident down towards turn 5 there. Damien G still in battles right now. Darryl Taylor to the outside of Canada corner. Can't get through. G in 8th place. But what about we're seeing for 2nd place on backwards? Seth Brown, who's currently leading the pack, ahead of Michael LeMay, who does seem to be struggling a little bit. Then there's Mike Brewson, then John McCutcheon. They are all right there and should be able to make their moves pretty soon.
Yeah, we're going to see here Mike LeMay. Brewson's going to pull out on the inside. He's going to take that inside line. It's going to be job done for him. John McCutcheon is trying to follow Brewson through. He hasn't got the GR. He hasn't got the speed. Brewson didn't have the speed to clear Seth Brown. That's brought Paul LeMay ahead of John McCutcheon. So LeMay made an absolutely stellar move there and has managed to stay ahead of McCutcheon. He's now got Brewson battling away as they're on their way down. Moraine sweep down from turn 3 to 5. It's not that we can't count. Oh, there is a move in the middle as well, Ewan. He's getting very close here.
Well, John McCutcheon's going to take the 2 of them as well. He'll be nearly on the grass on the inside towards turn 5, but it's a great dive again.
Woodward.
Oh, and Robert Woodward's gone straight into Brewson, who goes into Michael LeMay as well. It's a big incident down towards turn 5, and there's cars everywhere as well. John McCutcheon's up to 3rd place, but behind, the 3 of them all off the road.
Yeah, Woodward just torpedoed it. He missed his braking point. And unfortunately for Woodward, this is what actually happened here. You can see the 3 in front of him. You can see one of the LeMays on the right hand side. That's Paul LeMay. He misses his braking point, not going to get it stopped. There's Brewson. There goes Michael LeMay. And Mr. Woodward is going to be having to issue a few apologies after this one, because he has just managed to take out Mike Brewson and Michael LeMay there as well. It's all getting very close here with Darryl Taylor and Damien G. But McCutcheon, Brown still holding on. There's one of the sim stickers. I think that's pretty good. Holding on to the grass there as well. I think Colin Wynn was further back. I think he was taking trips on the grass here as well. Ewan, it's all getting very close. And once more is G battling out with Taylor.
What an opening couple of laps we've seen here with lots and lots of drama. It's left Simon Edwards quite a long way in the lead, and unfortunately some of the contenders a lot further down, including Woodward, who's back in the pit lane now and may well not re-emerge. Did note that Ward actually was to the Pope in the pit lane actually after the opening lap, but they're back out there again as John McCutcheon moves up once more. He's into 2nd place right now, only 1 position behind Simon Edwards. It may look like a bit of a disaster, but in fact it's not so bad at all. He will have gained 10 points on Edwards in the first race. He's only losing 5 to him at the moment, so it's absolutely fine as far as he's concerned. Edwards is still going to be kicking himself about the first race, but the least he can do now is go on to win this one.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's going to be the thing now, is they've got to go and win it. Seth Brown's trying to have a go at John McCutcheon as well. The worst thing you want to do is get yourself caught up with an incident with Mr. McCutcheon. You don't want that already. John is trying to come back through the field. He's trying to make his move. He's up 8 places with Edwards up 4 here. And what an absolutely epic scrap it's been. And one that I think if McCutcheon can now get on his bike a little bit, he's got 9 laps. There's a chance Edwards made a mistake. There's a chance Edwards could make another one. And he could end up altogether taking it here as well. But it's going to be exciting if nothing else.
It's going to be a good race. I think there's Colin Wynn who's been off the road actually through the mid part of the lap. He's just lost a place to Phil Johnson right now, dropping outside of the top 10. And this is what happened to him. He's just down the bottom of the hill. Oh dear, he's just outbroken himself. Ran wide, and that's how he's lost that position. But most of the battles are now down in the mid-pack. Oh dear, Seth Brown! Seth Brown off the road. I don't know whether he got the wall there or not, but he's certainly dropped down, and it will be outside the top 5 for him as well. John McGuinness a little bit glassed into. It was just a bit of oversteer on entry there, really. Brown kept it out the wall. Oh, and Brown's having big problems here. He's having huge problems. He's gone from 3rd place to outside the top 10 in a matter of moments.
Yeah, Seth Brown, I don't know what his steering's like currently at the moment. Is he going to be able to get it straight? Well, he can get it straight. Maybe he just made a mistake on his own. Let's see if we can have a look at the second one. Yeah, it looks like he's just
already off there.
Yeah, it looks like he's already off, and he's already just made a little bit of an error, and unfortunately for him, he's now just running down outside of the top 10. But this is G and Taylor and Bousson battling it out for 5th, 6th and 7th.
This is the highest place battle we can really see in the order right now. Taylor, G, Bousson, Godden. You'd expect Mike Bousson to be able to get through on all of these guys. And it'll be G at the moment on the inside line. Bousson with flashbacks of a couple of laps ago where he was hit in a bit of a Skittles manoeuvre, ironically, with Darryl Taylor in the Skittles car on the outside there. He's looking for a way through his Bousson but can't find it because G and Taylor are still going side by side. It's Taylor around the outside, and so Bousson will try and follow through but won't get there quite. G will just hold him off from there. Godden will be involved here as well. This is a good fight, and the only train of cars we've got in the field now. That's wide from Damien G though, and Mike Bousson doesn't get a second invitation to go through. Indeed, Paul Godden doesn't either, and he'll go through, although it will be a battle between the two of them.
Yeah, running around that carousel, trying to run that outside line is always going to be difficult. It's nice to see Phil Jocelyn in the mid-pack as well, after Phil had a bit of a drama in turn in the first race. He's still battling away with Paul Godden here as well. So they are battling nicely. Jocelyn's doing a stellar job. 3 temps back currently at the moment, but it is Edwards out in front with McHutchinson 3 seconds ahead from that.
Yeah, it's not in the midfield by any means. Bousson should be able to get through these guys in all honesty and get away from them. We'll see how far he can recover to, because he was on the podium, of course, in that first race, and you'd be surprised if he can't get there again. Paul LeMay as well is up in 3rd place, and he's probably stuck to where he is. McHutchinson as well, even with that fastest lap of the race so far. It's Bousson of those main contenders who is likely to gain places here, although Taylor won't just let him through by any means. Bousson's smart enough to hang behind at turn 1 because he knows that his best opportunity will be at turn 5.
Yeah, there's no need to rush a manoeuvre here. He's got a nice long moraine sweep to take care of, and he can just sit behind him, get a good exit out of 3, and then start running, and that's what he's done. He's going to get the job done before they've even hit the bridge, I think. Taylor made a mistake coming out of 3. He's now got a second nestling behind him. What he doesn't want to do here, Taylor, is run that biggest, massive amounts of overspeed. Bousson goes on the defensive. You can see he made that move earlier on. Taylor's going to try and run him out. Down the hill, they go onto the brakes one more in this SR10. Taylor looks like he's gone in deep. He's got in quite way deep, and unfortunately for Taylor, lost a chunk of time over Bousson. Bousson is through there. Paul Godden and Phil Jocelyn, these 3 are nearly side by side with Damien G in the mix as well here, Ewan, and it's getting really, really tight in that 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th spot, with Colin Wynn coming up onto the rear in 10th as well.
That was all very close, and now there's all sorts of weaving around with Johnson is making his way to the outside of Godden. We're used to seeing Johnson in that livery, but we are in the new cars, of course. Colin Wynn involved as well, and you can slowly see this battle starting to be played out for a lower and lower position as more and more drivers go through. Bousson and Taylor have been able to get away now. Damien G is at the front of the train, although arguably it's Godden at the front of the train. Jocelyn and Wynn both there. Michael LeMay might be able to get involved soon with Wayne Palmer as well, as Jocelyn, for whatever reason, just pulls out of line and goes for, oh, that's very late on the brakes, and Jocelyn will go back through on both of them. So Colin Wynn brakes very, very late there, and well, that was a strange incident. Everybody's caught up from behind now, but how many times have we seen that today? We've seen so many people outbrake themselves and cause other people to lose places as a result.
Yeah, it's hard for Colin Wynn to be fair. It's not just been saying that it's hard for him, it's hard for everybody, don't get me wrong, back in the SL10, but don't forget, Wynn hasn't been driving. He hasn't been driving at all, so it's going to take him at least a few rounds to get some practice in and get his flow back. He's normally a mid-table runner, anything from 5th to 12th downwards, really. So it's no surprise to see him here, but it'll be good to see Colin really putting back in the efforts in before. I've raced with Colin. I know what he's capable of in that car. He's just going to have to try and get back into it after last season where he missed pretty much most of it, as Taylor is now looking at going back past Buson here again. Buson didn't clear off as much as we expect, but I expect Wynn to get stronger and stronger as the season goes on.
Yeah, certainly is. This is a battle, by the way, between Darrell Taylor and Mike Buson that's very interesting, because I was expecting Buson to get away, but not giving enough respect to Darrell Taylor quite clearly, because he's giving him a hard time at the moment. Battle for 5th place. They do seem a little bit stronger than those around them, I think it's fair to say, but Buson is by no means crawling all over, trampling all over Taylor at the moment in his battle for 5th place. It's the one for 8th place we've been following closely with those 5 cars behind now, of course. And, they are the ones who have been battling it even more fiercely than these two, arguably. You'd imagine Buson will go for this in turn 1 again, although he's pretty close into Canada corner again. He'll just lift off here, or will he? No, he'll actually go for it, although half-heartedly. He will have to stay behind, and it will be Taylor staying in front. Paul Collin goes in front of Phil Jocelyn though. That's about for 8. No! They've both gone off the road in a very big way. The new damage model as well in full effect. And that was not good news.
No, that's
not good news for Phil Glover, by the way, either.
No.
He's had an incident further down, but this is the one we've just seen. For 8th place. It was hard racing between the two. Oh, there's the incident. Well, that's a difficult one to call.
Yeah, I'm not really quite sure how that worked out. I've got this horrible funny feeling that there was a nose chop here as well. Hopefully this angle might be able to help. They got locked together there, and then it's just, unfortunately for Paul Godden, he is around, and it's just spinning like a trooper, unfortunately for Godden. But yeah, that was a very sad end to what was a really great battle down there in that mid-pack.
Yeah, and I'm not entirely sure, if I'm honest with you, why Godden was coming over so close to Jocelyn there. I'm not entirely sure, because there was plenty of space for Godden on the right hand side, in my opinion. Jocelyn didn't exactly come over on him. He just straightens out the steering here, just Godden, squeezing him a little bit. He doesn't move anywhere really, and maybe Jocelyn can be blamed for turning into Godden. It's a difficult one, that.
Well, I think that the problem is, it isn't the fact that he turned into him, it's just the fact that the Godden did not take that line coming out of the corner. His natural line now would be going to the right, and he doesn't. And that, unfortunately, is what caused the drama. He didn't take the line into 13. He kept it straight, which was always going to narrow off Jocelyn's exit. And unfortunately for Jocelyn, there was just nowhere for him to go.
Yeah, that's a real shame, really. And Jocelyn didn't really have much more space on the left-hand side to use there to avoid that. So yeah, I think you're right on that one. It's a disappointment, both of them, but we've possibly put that one on poor Godden there. Not sure who they're going to decide is at fault, but we may well find out a little bit later. Darrell Taylor has lost a bit of time for whatever reason. He was fighting with Mike Buson earlier, but now he's battling with Damien G all of a sudden, a couple of seconds away from where he was previously.
Yeah, he was. I'm not entirely sure what happened. He did get overtaken, but there wasn't any specific reason why he lost so much time. G's moving through the board. I'd like to point out as well, McCutcheon just took 6 tenths out of Edwards there, as G's just about to look up the inside into turn 1. G is strong in this car, and I'm not surprised to see him start making his way. He is very strong. He drives the officials. He does really well in it as well. You know, and I met Damien in real life. We met in Birmingham, an absolutely cracking fella. But boy, oh boy, is he tall. I'm not going to lie. He towered over me, and I'm nearly 6 foot, and he was taller than me. So he had a good old tall boy there for I don't know what they're feeding him up north, but whatever it is, he was as the season goes on, he's another one I think is going to get better, stronger and stronger.
Down the inside, and that's a place for Damien G. Into 6th ahead of Darrell Taylor. A pretty nicely executed move. I've got to say, one gap that I wasn't expecting to see come down to quite the margin that it is right now is the leading one. Simon Edwards versus John McCutcheon. It's been fastest lap after fastest lap for this man on your screen right now. Purple after purple. And Simon Edwards looking over his shoulder right now with worry, because John McCutcheon is gaining, and there's surely enough laps left in this one for them to fight it out all over again.
Yeah, it is. Look at sector 3 and 4. McCutcheon's pulled 6 tenths out of him already. This lap around, he pulled 6 tenths out of him the last lap, and he's lost a little bit. Well, to be fair, he's lost barely nothing compared to what he's gained. I'm not going to sit here and say he's lost time, because he hasn't really lost a meteoric amount. I'm expecting this gap to come down below a second this time around. McCutcheon is closing. He's closing rapidly. Here, he's just took another 2 tenths. He's just taken 8 tenths out of Edwards. Edwards on a 59.8, Hutch on a 59.0, and he is absolutely flying. There's the last 5 laps on the screen. You can see he's just pulled time and time and time and time again. It's like Doctor Strange out of the Avengers, just magic in time is John McCutcheon, and he's doing an absolutely stellar job with it as well. And this is where it's going to come down to it, Ewan. The last final 3 laps here, McCutcheon, Edwards, I would not be surprised if come the final lap that gap's down to about 2 tenths running down the marine sweep.
Yeah, 3 laps to go here, and only, well, less than a second between them now as well. That means that he'll be getting the slipstream effect, Will McCutcheon, and that will only increase the level at which this gap is closing lap on lap. So it's important now, this battle, especially for Edwards. I thought he had this race won right from the very first lap, actually, when he got to the front. And let's give him some credit as well. He started this race in 5th place, but he was first by the end of turn 1. It was an unbelievable start from Simon Edwards, and he got away from the rest. I thought he had the race won. Clearly not. He's going to have a little bit more work to do before he can call himself a race winner here tonight, but he's got to give himself credit here. But in the same vein, I think he also has to make sure he stays in front of McCutcheon as Colin Wynne goes off in the same way as he did earlier on. I think that was exactly what he did to let Phil Jocelyn through for a singular position earlier on, and he's got it wrong in that braking zone again.
Yeah, Colin Wynne was doing so well. He just passed Darrell Taylor for 7th place. Makes a mistake coming out of turn 8, and then it's just all gone wrong. He lost actually 4 places, and unfortunately for him, he's now down in 9th place. He's going to be kicking himself, but you know, I think he's got to expect these mistakes to be making in his first race back for a very long time here. He'll clean it up. I'm sure he will. I've met Colin, and I'm sure he will clean up what he's doing. He's doing an absolutely stellar job. He's still in the race, which is great. But as this season goes on, I am expecting him just to come out leaps and bounds, start progressing well. And it's great to see him back in the car. Just these little silly mistakes that he has to make up there.
Yep. That's a shame for him. He's down in 10th at the moment. The battle of interest, though, is between Taylor, LeMay and Palmer for 7th position. That was wide from Taylor through turn 1 there. You will have seen the off track, and LeMay just gained in a little bit. Now Wayne Palmer will get involved as well. He'll be right in behind as a result of the stalling of the 2 in front of him. He'll have the slipstream and possibly the chance to go through. He'll look to the inside here. He's showing the nose, but clearly not with the straight line speed there at all to do anything. Taylor will stay in front, and I wonder whether Palmer's got a bit more downforce than maybe he needed on that car, because on that straight there he just seemed to be going absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, but we had that earlier on with Bousson and Brown, when Bousson was right up behind Brown down there. He had the slipstream and didn't go anywhere either. So it's going to be, I think there is a mixture of what they've done with their setups here as well. I'm not quite so sure if Edwards has got that low, which we become accustomed to almost from Simon Edwards, where he runs practically nothing on the car anyway. His gap is down to 6 tenths. I have been keeping an eye on it. Don't panic if they do end up getting together. We will bring you it, and we will show you here as well. And I'm expecting if they're going to start closing up together, it's going to be now. They're just going down the start-finish straight. I'm expecting that to be at least 2 tenths by the time they get into turn 1.
Yeah, you'd think so, but let's see. McCutcheon in the slipstream here on the penultimate lap. Another fastest lap of the race. Edwards with the personal best there, by the way. He's not exactly going slowly, but McCutcheon is just going quicker. I just wonder whether McCutcheon is going to get one chance and one chance only. It will be on the final lap. It may well be the perfect timing as well, because as we've seen time and time again, the slipstream's quite powerful around this circuit. It means if you go in front too early, you could be re-overtaken, but McCutcheon may well have caught up at exactly the right time here.
Yeah, look, Edwards goes defensive. Hutch says carry on. I've got the speed over you. There's no need for me to follow you across the track. I don't want to pull you in until the final lap. I don't expect Hutch to make it down into turn 1. I've got to be honest. I think he's going to wait for the rain. I think he's going to wait for the run down into 5. Because once he gets it down into 5, unless Edwards is going to do something crazy down into Canada Corner, it could be done at the end of 5 there. And I think if Hutch is smart, he doesn't want to make it down into turn 1 because he's got a straight to defend after that, and I don't think he's going to be that crazy.
Let's see. The carousel they will go towards the king. Absolute commitment that you need around here. Both of them absolutely on the limit. McCutcheon gaining all the time as well, even forcing Edwards to go slightly defensive here. They've got more than 10 seconds behind them. It's going to be just about these two on this occasion. There was the lurking threat of Paul LeMay last time in race 1, but this time it's just about these two. Edwards versus McCutcheon, as it was so many times last season. It's hit them two again into the final corner. Now Edwards will be forced to defend surely, but will McCutcheon want to go through into turn 1 or turn 5?
He's got to get the gap down close enough into 1 to get the exit out of 1 and down into 3. Is he going to go for it? I'm surprised he has. I am surprised on the final lap he's gone for it this early. He must feel we can hold him off. They're going to be side by side through 1. Now you've put him under pressure. Now you've got him there, Hutch. What are you going to do with him? Stop playing with your food. Either finish him off and get past him. He's got to use 5 to make this move. Edwards has got to defend like crazy. He don't know what he's going to do. Is he going to go inside? He is. He's running the inside line already, coming down into 5. He's going to send Hutch the long way. He's going to turn around and say, you're going to do it. I'm going to put you on that outside. Now hold this car. It's not been successful for Hutch over the last race in race 1. He hasn't got it again. Is he going to run him up the hill into 7? He's got to try and get through here, Ewan. The only place he's got left now is going down into Canada Corner.
Yeah, I think McCutcheon was trying to play tricks on him almost. We were surprised that Edwards was forced to go side by side there, but I think McCutcheon just backed out of that one entirely throughout turn 1 to set himself up at turn 5, but historically that's not been fantastic for him. And once again we saw it on that last lap. He wasn't able to go through, and now Edwards has the position. He's got the lead. He's just got to hold on from McCutcheon, although we know that McCutcheon's faster through the kick. Let's see the commitment through here. There they go. Out wider on the curb. He's going to be in the slipstream as well towards Canada Corner. Edwards will be forced to defend, but he's on the longer route around the turn. And now McCutcheon will be on the outside line. Late braking. There's contact. And Edwards will go through. They'll sort it out between themselves on the road. There was lock-up from both of them. There was contact as well. And Edwards, it might be giving this one over, is he? Or is he? Yes. He will do. John McCutcheon will win the race. He wants to give it over as well. They've got too much respect, the both of them. Edwards tried to give it over to McCutcheon, who gave it back in turn again. And Edwards, in dramatic circumstances, is going to win as the second race of the day gets decided on the last lap as well.
Oh my God, blimey, Governor. The respect between Edwards and McCutcheon. It was like a you go, you go, I don't want it, you take it situation. We are watching Michael LeMay. He's going to run up to the back of Darrell Taylor coming over the line. I think Taylor's going to hold on to it there as well. But, well, I don't really know what else to say.
Well, I've never seen anything quite like that before. That's what I will say. Because the respect between the two of them is almost too high. If we're honest, this is the battle. McCutcheon always quicker through the quick. He got to the outside. Edwards broke very, very late here and dove it on the brakes. And I think he is at fault for that incident, to be honest. I think he is at fault. He knows it as well, I think. He gives over the place into the final corner and says, you deserve the win. I made a mistake there. But McCutcheon says, no, either I don't want to win like that or you did nothing wrong. And Edwards goes through to win the race himself. What a bizarre set of circumstances.
Yeah, it was literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 overtakes between that was registered. 6 overtakes between these two just out of Canada corner alone. So between 12 and 14, they changed positions 6 times because they were just backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. And nobody really knew who was going to take it here. But in the end, well, the results are on your screen.
Well, it was Simon Edwards who took the win by half a second ahead of John McCutcheon and Paul LeMay third, who was on his own for most of that one. Jamie Bird and Mike Booton were inside the top 5 as well. Damien G. sixth ahead of Darryl Taylor, who just held off Michael LeMay. Then it was Wayne Palmer and Colin Wynn just inside the top 10. Seth Brown 11th ahead of Phil Glover, who was 12th. Then just within a minute, David Ralston. Martina Ward at 14th, and Phil Johnson and Paul Godden, who both retired on that same lap as a result of that incident. And on lap 2, Robert Woodward also retired as a result of that incident down towards turn 5, you may remember.
Yeah,
but that is it for racing. Goodness me, what an opening we've seen in the first 2 races of this season.
Yeah, it is as well. Paul Crabb after race 1. Sorry, Paul, I missed your message. This is what we will get all season. Great racing throughout the field. Robert Woodward coming at the end of race 2, but to me, to you. And then Paul Clark there from the Highbound Lounge. Wow, great racing. And I think it definitely was great racing and very, very respectful. I think you could see the respect between the two guys there, the two well, championship protagonists, I think, as well. And I believe you've got one of them sitting in the booth waiting for you, Ewan.
Yeah, John McCutcheon, who will join us now. John, welcome along. Good to have you here. A first place and a second place today. But let's start with that very end of the second race there between you and Simon. A fantastic battle coming to an end on that very last lap. Just tell us about that last lap.
During the race, it felt like I turned in a little early, a little too soon for him, and didn't leave him enough space. But so that's why he gave me it, and then I gave him it back. But watching the replay, it was 50-50. You know, he had more room in the inside, but that's the way it goes, isn't it? Don't worry about it.
So I wanted to know actually what your thought process was going into the final corner when you saw him pull off to the side. Was it for you a case of you didn't want to win in that way, or was it a case of you didn't think he did anything wrong? What was your thoughts as he pulled to the side there?
No, we were speaking in chat, and he was giving me the place back because he felt it pushed me off, and I felt I turned in early, you know. So I just gave him it back again. But he owes me one.
Well, fair enough. We were saying in commentary that you two have almost too much respect for each other. Almost neither of you wanted to win that race, but there we are. It was a great battle between you. And race 1 as well. Did that surprise you a little bit to see Simon just break late into turn 3? I mean, I've never seen him make a mistake like that. Not for a long time, anyway. Were you surprised about the ending to race 1?
No, race 1 was brilliant. It was close racing, so something's got to give, you know, and you're pushing 100% every time. Pushing the car to the limits, and I think he just said he locked his rear a little, and round he went. But that's racing. If you're not pushing it flat out, what's the point in racing?
Absolutely, absolutely right. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, John, before we let you go for the first time this season?
Not tonight, boys. Not tonight. Just the weather.
Fair enough, John. Congratulations on a successful evening, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Thanks very much. John McCutcheon there with a first place and a second on the day with Simon Edwards, his protagonist so often, and he also joins us now. Simon, welcome in. Good to have you here. Tell us about that last lap from your perspective in race 2.
Well, I think John gave me that. I think I leaned on him too much in the corner. But I tried to give it him back, but he told me not to take it, so to go for it. So I took it anyway. But I think I leaned on him a bit too much there. I was struggling terribly with the downshifts. I kept locking the rears, so I was just every corner was like I was just getting more and more fearful of every corner. So I'd lost all my pace in the middle of that race. But I think John was very generous that
Well, I think even he admitted actually after the race as well to us. To be fair, in terms of the season as a whole, I know you didn't enjoy the SR8 very much, but we're back in the SR10s now. Just how is this car different? Not particularly to last season because we didn't use it, quite frankly, in the Radical Race Series, so it doesn't really matter how it behaved last season. But compared to 2 seasons ago, what is it like using the SR10 now compared to the start of 2023, which seems like a very long time ago now?
To be honest with you, I don't like it. It's SR8 V2. So I think it's a bit imbalanced for me. So I've got what I call the minimum downforce on, which is no downforce at the front, but I can't go any less than 6 or 7 wing at the rear. It's just too unbalanced. There's too much front end grip for me. So struggling with it at the moment. So, but we'll see if I find something that makes me feel like it's a nice thing to drive. But I've only had 2 sessions with it, so it's not as though I've had a season with it and got the same opinion. So I'll refresh you if my opinion changes.
Okay, and I'm sure opinion will change for better or worse throughout the season because, after all, you were saying a similar thing last season at about this point early on, and you ended up very nearly going on to win. So you never know, of course. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, Simon, before we let you go for the evening?
I'd give a shout out to iRacing Setup Builders, but I don't think I will.
Wow, that was it.
But yeah, it is what it is. But the shout out's really to you guys. I watched a couple of the last races, and it was a great commentary in the last 2. Even though you kept mentioning me in the last one, going, "Oh, this is terrible." But,
sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry, John.
Yeah, it was unfortunate, and we it was, but it was dramatic from our point of view, I suppose. So there we are. But yeah, apologies for that. But anyway, we'll let you go now, Simon. Congratulations on a successful evening, and we hope to see you next week once more.
Yep. See you guys.
Thanks very much. Simon Edwards, their winner of race 2 here this evening. Big drama in race 2, particularly for Paul Godden, who also joins us now. Paul, welcome in. Good to have you here. Unfortunately, incident spelled the end of your second race that we saw throughout that one with Phil Justin, of course. It was great battling up until that point. Just tell us about that battle from your perspective.
Yeah, evening, guys. Yeah, it was a shame to end the evening like that, but I was having a great battle with the mid pack, and Phil come past me, and the draft was quite strong into a couple of the slower corners, and I was pulling in on him, and I thought, right, I'm going to go on the outside, and he stayed in the middle of the road, and then the gap opened up, and I thought, I'm going to have to brake a bit late here. Braked a bit late, got on the dirt on the inside, just gave each other enough room on the exit, and then next thing I know, I turned, just got hit, and first of all, I thought I've come across the front of him, and so when I watched the replay back, I realised that he didn't turn, but we just didn't. I probably didn't give him enough room coming back on, and he didn't give me enough room coming back on. It was just 2 into 1, didn't go, and unfortunately we hit, and hopefully we didn't take anyone else out. But it was a real shame to end like that because we were both getting used to the car again, right, being in the SR10 and having some good battles, and hopefully we can. Forget about this one and move on and have a great battle for the rest of the season together.
It was somewhat remarkable, actually, that you didn't take anyone else out because it was a great battle with lots of cars involved and a very narrow point in the circuit. So that was pretty fortunate. In terms of the season as a whole, how are you feeling about being back in the SR10 now, back from the SR8 that we had last season? What are your thoughts on the car?
It's all very new to me again, this car, because I never got to race it last season at all. We done some practicing with it, ready for to run last season, and then it found out last minute it wasn't going to run. So we jumped into the SR8, ran that for a season, and then found out we're back in the SR10 for this one. So done a couple of practice sessions this week, and I've it's just trying to learn a new car again. I'll need to find about 2 seconds, it looks like, to be up the front. So I think first of all I need to just take a smaller steps and go right. I need to find maybe half a second on the guys around me, and maybe in the setup change possibly, and then feel a bit more confident in the car, which will be better. I'm a bit on edge at the moment, but the racing in it tonight was just brilliant. I mean, everyone around me, I got hats off to them all, driving really fair and clean. And yeah, I think it's going to be a cracking season with some great drivers in it.
It certainly is. Paul, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go this evening?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out to yourself and James for putting on such a great broadcast. The admin team for putting all the effort into making the series what it is, and again the drivers for making it a great fun series to race against everyone from the front of the field right away to the back. Some series you're at the back of the pack and you're on your own, but in this you're having a battle throughout the whole field, so it's really good. And obviously, lastly, to my teammate Wayne Palmer for pushing us harder and harder to get quicker and quicker and get up the field with him. And we're trying to improve every race this season, so really looking forward to the rest of the season.
Yeah, we are as well. Paul, congratulations on a successful evening, I suppose. And thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks very much, Paul Gordon there, joining us after the race at Road America tonight. And finally, we'll be joined by Phil Glover once more as well. Phil, welcome in once again. We didn't see a lot of you tonight, unfortunately, which I'm disappointed about. But how was your second race out there?
Yeah, that was probably a good thing, to be honest. Mind you, the car looks good, doesn't it? I'm back in the Castrol colours, so it looks particularly good in the pits. But anyway, yeah, but that was a bit inconsistent, to be honest. I mean, I finished 12th. I started 14th, so I made a couple of places up, I guess. But when I look at my average lap times, it reflects a few offs that I had, to be honest.
Yeah, we're actually just watching one of them, which is unfortunate. Sorry about that. But that inconsistency you mentioned, is that down to the new car just getting grips to things? Is it characteristic of the SR10 that's difficult to get a hold of? What do you think it's particularly down to?
I think it's a combination of a characteristic of me and trying to get to grips with the car again, because obviously they've done a few changes. So yeah, as an opening event for the season, it's not too bad for me. So hopefully we can continue to improve.
Absolutely. We look forward to seeing you there. Phil, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Well, I think Simon did quite well to hang on with John on his coattails. So, well done, Simon.
Absolutely. Phil, thanks very much for coming to join us once again, chatting to us this evening, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheers, then. Bye.
Thanks very much. Phil Glover chatting to us there after the opening round of the season. Well, it's been a fantastic couple of opening races here at Road America this evening in the Radical Race Series. I think we've got a great season lined up ahead of us based on what we've just seen.
Yeah, I think it's going to be epic. And if you haven't just sat back and enjoyed that, well, there's nothing me, Ewan, or the drivers can do to get you a remotely bit excited. Because to be honest, at one point, well, for pretty much most of that, I was up on my feet. It was absolutely incredible. And if that's what I'm going to be looking forward to every Thursday evening, I'm happy about that.
Absolutely. And I think we all can be as well. Thanks very much for everybody who's been watching on this evening. It's been great to have you along. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, of course, and check out all the other racing that's going on tonight and all the other nights and weekends and all sorts going on here on the JPB YouTube channel. But we'll be returning next week once again, as we always do for the Radical Race Series, so make sure you tune in same time, same place for this one once again as we head to Spa for the second round of the season. For now though, I've been Ewan O'Leary alongside James Parfitt, and until next week, it's goodbye for now.